Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. If I sound a little bit different today, it's because I have a flu and not feeling well in the last couple of days. But I have decided to do this Crypto Lab today because of uh, a couple of things. First one is that I have seen below the comments in the posts somebody impersonating trading analysis. So I will just show you, they're using our logo and of course I've been facing this for since we started the Crypto Lab, but this one has been so far the most kind of a crazy one because there is apparently people using our logo and calling um, others to join them on the WhatsApp. I don't know what they do there. I didn't try to connect to the WhatsApp, but I will after I finish this to see what they're doing if I succeed. But just be careful. There is a lot of scams. Trading Analysis is a respectable firm. We don't take any funds from clients and we are not brokers. So we actually don't have anything to do with the client's money. We are conducting a very well established research and analysis for our members, and therefore we are not associated with anything in this type of things. So be careful and be aware of this, and we have been facing this for a couple of last months, either on Twitter, our other accounts, or social media. So just one more warning again, be careful, and everybody who offers anything in regards of investments in crypto or putting your money using our logo, that's definitely is not us. As usual, I'm gonna do a little bit of wrap up regarding the macro themes and the crypto markets. This crypto lab will be shorter than the usual one because I'm not feeling so well. So let me start immediately. You can, as usual, write your comments in the chat box, and if I have time, I will look some of the cryptos maybe you're interested in. So let me start with the move up in 10-year yields. We have seen from this low something which starts to look like a 5-wave move development on the upside. We have challenged almost this 1.7, and we are going to challenge most likely 2%. I think 2% on 10-year yields will be a huge resistance levels, and I think from there, if we don't penetrate it on the upside and this resistance becomes support, we might see a little bit of leeway corrective pullback from 2% levels. So last job reports was not close to any forecast, 194K, and rate dropped from 5.2 or 5.1 to 4.8. So we moved a little bit lower, and I think that the Fed will definitely look into this data, but also I don't think this move is simply not enough for them to start still anything serious regarding moving rates on the upside. But we have seen their stance on the last Fed meetings, and we will see soon on the next one if something changed in that. So we have to monitor this data. So on the European fronts, we are looking usually as a benchmark price of the 10-year bond. This is something that we look just because of a clarity in regards of price and yield. So these charts are inverted. When the price is moving down, yields are moving up. We are still considering this to be some type of a either larger consolidation in a triangle or in something more complex, but we see this maybe lasting a year or two. Depends how long this correction will unfold. but overall we still think that this is just a transitory phenomenon, and that in one point in time we will embark on another deflationary run on the upside, which means that the yields are going to move lower due to some event, might be an economical event, might be something else, but from this chart, if we hold this support zone, for now we can clearly see that the central banks in one moment will start to be even more accommodative if we get through some major event, or the higher deflationary forces like technology and demographics kicks in when we are past this COVID situation. So economy is still not balanced, as we know. Inflation is popping on all sides. We still have these supply side issues. Energy, as you know, is going up. Somebody's already calling $100 for a price of oil. We have seen what has been going in UK. The prices of commodities has gone up, and also energy was moving on the upside, which actually affects overall inflationary and paints overall inflationary picture currently. So from there, let's move to a dollar index. So dollar index has been moving higher. We were looking for this pullback in a B wave and a continuation on the upside. For now, we still don't see any danger to this wave count. We are still holding necessary support now, which was before resistance. We consider that we are in some type of an ABC pullback, which kind of matches a couple of assets classes that we look in line with the US dollar, namely gold, some of the metals, and some other assets classes. So we might be still until the end of this year, maybe November, December, see an uprise in the dollar reaching this 96. And if we see something more on the upside, because the relation between a measured move, or ABC, which is usually equality, and that's why it's called a measured move, might even go to 1618. So we want to see more and track development of this. But for now, our wave count, and we track dollar for the last couple of years relatively successfully. We are going to look for a further move on the upside. And if this fails, we will update you with our new look on it. For now, we're going to stay on this wave count that we are going to see a little bit more upside in dollar towards the end of this 2021. So from that, we're going to look a little bit of gold and silver. You know, we have been tracking this macro scene in regards of the things that are also influencing cryptos. There has not been so firm correlation between the dollar and Bitcoin only in the last year. Actually, two of them has been going together in the last 10 years, except the last year from the COVID crisis, year and a half. And we have been looking gold also for a substantial amount of time, and our members was pretty much warned that we are in some type of a consolidation, and that this actually portrays a picture of a possible triangle. I have noted I think on the last Crypto Lab, that we might be some type of a B wave, and we might see a little bit more upside in gold in this D wave. We are still not showing signs of breaking this very important support level at 1676. So for now, I think the most likely triangle will be the reasonable wave count. On the gold, we go a little bit more up, and then towards the end of the year, we have this E wave finished, and around January, we start most likely to see this initial 5-wave move from the possible E wave lows. Triangles are pretty solid patterns, and they actually always warn you that there is one more move left on the upside. It's just a question, are you looking on a triangle on a lesser or on a higher degree of a trend? So we are not going to go far in the overall wave count. We will just focus on this portion here. And if we see from these lows around potentially 1,750, that will be a relatively nice kind of a bounce back in 5 waves, and that will be a first sign that potentially we might be actually confirming gold continuing higher towards some targets above 2,000 in the next couple of let's say half of the year in 2022. If we get something more exuberant on the upside, this might be also some type of a flat. So this will be a 3, this will be a 3 finishing somewhere around there and a 5 wave down. That is still not the case. I don't want to include this and complicate my life and your lives. I want to see firm break of this possible D wave, and usually when you have these retracement levels for the legs in triangles, we might see 0.618 reached from the previous leg, which will be somewhere around between 1,822 and 786, 1,863, which I think is going to be the case, lining up with this kind of a equality between these two legs. Any break on the upside from these levels will most likely change the picture, especially if we break 1,916. We will have to look something of a different pattern, but for now, as we are relatively nicely following this for now, I'm going to stick with this possible completion of a D wave around 1,880 from 63 to 80. So silver is also doing its thing. We still look for a possible in correlation with gold that we are in some type of a last fifth wave B leg. On the upside, this will be some type of a flat, 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and then diagonal as a 5-wave move. Flats are 335, but we should be contained around this 21-22 region. Any 5-wave move advance towards this last resistance levels. And don't forget, silver was in this consolidation for already a year, even a little bit more. So as long as we have this wave structure holding, not surpassing some of the levels which we usually look, I will stick to this analysis because it has been holding relatively well. And first of the signs which I would like to question this, or maybe start to count this impulsively, is that if we go above 24.8325 on the upside. Yeah, sure. Same picture that we have seen with dollar and gold should actually match, as I have showed you, just to show you once on a big screen. Sorry guys, sometimes I do forget to just switch the screen for you to see better. Thanks for reminding me. So yeah, I mentioned this D wave. So now, as you can see on this enlarged picture, that will kind of correspond with this small move up in silver. Dollar will make its further move on the upside, reaching our levels, which will kind of match with this E wave on the downside. And then from there, we might see kind of this assets classes correlation in a full shine, which will be kind of a still something that we track for years and years, because gold is a kind of a difficult things nowadays regarding its hedge proposition and with the appearance of cryptos, Bitcoin, changes of narrative. But traditionally, gold is still valued as the majority of the big funds as a store of value or inflation hedge. But only if we go above some percentages in rates on the upside. So I believe this will be a dollar move lower in some fear of inflation or some world event. I don't think it's going to be a gold move on the upside. I think it's going to be a dollar move lower, which will actually make this gold and silver moving and completing this sequence on these higher time frames. So um, let me just look some of the things. I think I have caught some news today, which might be also important. I just want to mention stocks. As the rates are moving up, stocks are not backing first fiercely on the downside. This is the futures on Nasdaq. So after something which we were looking potentially to develop in a five-wave move, and I think I have been addressing this in the last or in the last couple of crypto labs as this was developing, that this support actually must hold if we want actually to see that stocks are potentially has one more move on the upside. And now we have only three waves down. We have some overlaps yet. I mean, it's still not done. We still not hammered that the stocks will not reverse and maybe make another small movement. This can be also a smaller triangle. I have been discussing this with Bennett the other day. We did some wave counts on a Bitcoin, and we looked stocks together as well. Bennett and Terry are our two analyticians which are looking the stock market. You can watch them, and me as well, on a little bit of macro in the Wednesday's live stream that we have on our trading analysis channel. So we are still kind of observing this, but the signs starts to appear that this might be a short-lived correction, and that we might either fall in a bigger triangle, or from here, if we see a five waves up, we might be extending this rally a little bit more on the upside on the stocks side. So for now, we don't see a continuation below this important support level. Next one is pretty much lower from the price perspective. As you can see, market is still not willing to take this type of a dive. On the downside, we are start meandering sideways price action, which is indication that the strength of the market is still somehow strong despite the yields moving higher. So this kind of fit the pictures. So overall, we will update you on the next crypto labs of on this macro development, which we do think they're important in overall picture also for some of the movements in crypto due to either margin spillover or a willingness of investors to designate their portfolio in some type of a calamity a little bit more to a crypto market. Let's look at anything of the news. There is a kind of a sizable note in the CoinDesk news that DeFi pushes North America to world's second biggest crypto market. Now as China is out. I think it's a good read. Things are changing. Miners are also settling in the United States, regardless of the things that we have seen there. Moreover, the efforts, especially the notes from Fed's Jerome Powell and Commission Secretary Gensler, is moving towards putting the cryptos in the kind of a lawful framework, then banning it or kind of a moving it out offshore. So for now, these attempts are kind of looked from the crypto community as a positive ones, except of course few things that we have seen in the past regarding more of a KYC or more of a something that you cannot do certain things if you are trading cryptos in the United States. We have also seen the infrastructure bill and plans to tax crypto holders. And of course, capital gains and tax are fine, but we are living in a relatively difficult times regarding coronavirus. Debts are anywhere, and just a kind of a note that in this type of times, governments will do most of the things to kind of a balance their balance sheet, which is understandable for one side. But the question is, why we have fallen into this spiraling debt at the first place. So that's another debate. So let's move further and look some of the pictures in cryptos. As you know, my overall outlook on the Bitcoin has changed on the upside. I have been pretty much, as you know, conservative. I'm not by any way any guy of the hype thing. So I try to look things more objectively using our methodology. And as long as we are holding this 40K line, which I think it's one of the most uh, kind of important supports for the Bitcoin, I will not talk about the 30K because 30K it's now already far away. I will focus on this 40K, which any break on the downside below 40K will signal me and will put me back more in a neutral stance regarding the price action. I will not become bearish, but if I see price trading below 40K, I will become again neutral. And as I was moving through bearish, neutral, and bullish stances, as we have seen, the supports levels trying to paint the picture. For now, I shifted my bias to a little bit more bullish stance because from these lows, I have seen a 5-wave move on the upside. And as long as I see this developing, I will stay most likely biased on the bullish side continuation. So there is a couple of additional things we look. As you know, all of the markets are looking this 200 moving average. We penetrated on the upside and on the downside. We came back, nice rally towards our target. I think we pinpointed this target last time. Around 59.60. So I think we are due in some type of a pullback towards this 200 moving average. We also had a golden cross, as everybody's speaking about this. I don't look that too much. That might be only like a third or fourth kind of indication which I will be ever looking. They are pretty much unreliable. We have seen a dead cross, then a gold cross. I mean, all kind of things between these two moving averages. So I will not place my faith in it in regards of how the price will actually do. So in that respect, either this being a completed wave 1 and 2, and we are going to continue higher pretty fast, I will stick to this just because of the right look of these two corrections. So this one here and this one here, which was holding 40K, kind of appeals to my eye to be in the right look measurement, which means they're pretty much equal in size. And in time, so they kind of matches each other. There is no wave count invalidations, so I will rather count this as a complete 5-wave move, looking for a pullback down to this 44 to 47, 48 area. And if I see this developing only in 3 waves, that will most likely mean that we are going to head higher, and most likely we are going to head higher rapidly in the Bitcoin price on the upside. So our overall stance on the wave count was still that we have a bullish bias towards Bitcoin. We were looking this from a perspective of a possible higher degree wave 3 target. Most likely this is a lesser degree. That is the only change we made. And we are now developing this last sequence in this higher degree wave 3 target, because some of the ratios we have are matching to a pretty sizable move up in a Bitcoin. I really don't like to sound kind of a, I don't know, more in the hyper price predictions, but as you can see, this weekly 200 is also holding well. So things are developing pretty nice, I think, for Bitcoin, and that if we see this small pullback, which will be very welcomed, we might be going above 100K, and after a small pullback, we might be even reaching some relatively nice numbers on the upside. I will not speculate on the final target until I see these levels between 75 and 81K crossed. These are very significant levels, so pay attention on them. What I would not like to see is that we immediately go here without any sizable pullback. Okay, that will indicate a possibility of another scenario which might not be expected by many. Let me just find where did I uh, manage to pull that scenario, because we have a couple of them. Yeah, so uh, I will observe these levels very carefully, because that was one of the targets I had for the previous moves. We failed to reach it, but we warned that this Bitcoin bull run in May will not go to 200K immediately, which we don't. So pay attention on these levels, especially if we don't see a correction. Okay, so this will be a pretty sizable and important levels for Bitcoin to cross. If we start to stall here and develop a sizable five-way move to the downside, we will be tempted to consider this to be a lesser degree wave 3 highs. Okay, these are a very small targets for Bitcoin to reach, as everybody expects. So market sometimes gives us a kind of a cold, icy drink in the eyes of our expectations. So I like to be a little bit more cautious, especially if I see this going directly to this level. So I'm repeating, if I see this going directly from now 57K to 74, 80K, that for me will be a potentially sign that I should very attentively look what the Bitcoin does on these levels. Nevertheless, the pullback will give me a more assurance that we are going to see a nice small pullback here, which is going to be also a potential entry for me on the longer theme of the Bitcoin, and that will be make me sleeping more easily in regards of the developments of these potential targets for this higher degree wave 3, which are pretty sizable, so let's not mention them currently, but let's see if we cross this 75, 81K and continue above towards 100K. So I will definitely be involved here on this pullback, which is going to be a kind of a pretty nice support zone, kind of a small risk for me. And in that respect, this is for me a very sizable holding zone from 40K to this 48K, which I think Bitcoin will hold. And from there, if we see from here a three-way pullback, which is a kind of, I think, due, if you look the five-way movement, we took some also Fibonacci measurements here. So if you subdivide this, sorry guys, into a five-way move, and you do some fib ratios, targets are around there, 57,784. So we are some around there on the target. You might overshoot a little bit, but I will welcome an ABC pullback down to the support levels over there. Is a weekly 200, which I already, I think, showed you. Let me just, oh, where is that? Or I didn't make a mistake, it was on daily. No? Sorry, my bad. 200 is down there, sorry, it was a 50. Okay, so on the daily chart, 200 is there anyhow, and this looks pretty kind of a good support level, proved in the past. So I think my whole attention for me and for our members will be what is going to be next unfolding in the next week or two, or even faster if we see this pullback on the downside. So let me just go to Ether, which is pretty similar, guys. Ether has been lagging a bit on this run on the upside, so I have turned my bias also on the bullish side on Ether. Ether was, even from the beginning of this correction, into a better position regarding this 200 moving average all time. So in regards of that, I would like to see more, little bit more upside, reaching and testing these levels, and then a pullback, because we will most of the altcoins was lagging the Bitcoin move on the upside. I didn't show you the Bitcoin dominance chart, which I also have, which has made something which we call a potential wave count invalidation. Okay, so wave count invalidation, according to the rules, is when the wave 4 enters the territory of the wave 1. I think we don't have that on a closing basis, so potentially it's still valid, but which means that we didn't see on a closing basis wave 4 enter the territory of the wave 1. But I will start to look this to be very careful if we hold this support and start to breaking this further on the upside, if we don't fall down. And my zone is pretty small. For this, it will be around these levels between 41 or 43 to 44. So if Bitcoin doesn't hold this, most likely this was a wave 4. We're going to see alts moving on the upside. But the situation currently doesn't portray this. Bitcoin is stronger. Alts didn't do much in the last couple of days or 2 weeks. So I will be more liking to see, or looking to see, not liking to see. I have no preference in that respect. That we might go one more move on the upside, which will actually be something that will portray a pretty sizable move upside in Bitcoin, which aligns with our analysis. Taking that into consideration, we might hear some maybe new news or something else regarding Bitcoin, because this chart, if we see a 5 waves up, a small pullback, will at least do a measure move, which means that Bitcoin will move up sizably and take the market cap of alts. Alts will be going on the upside, but the Bitcoin will go substantially higher than the alts following this path. So pay attention if you're looking dominance chart. Pay attention what is going on here. If you see this kind of a stopping here and breaking more sufficiently and sizably this 44.67 levels, you will have a 5-way move, which definitely will put this 5-way move on the downside down, with a small double bottom here, and then we consider this to be a wave B or a big ABC flat. So this was a 5 waves up in A, down in B, and I do expect this to turn as alts develops more of a sideways price action. And honestly to say, as you know my stance, I don't like this subdivision between Bitcoin and alts, because Bitcoin was in a kind of in presented as a currency in the white paper, and now it's shift to a more monetary kind of store of value, digital gold, and all of that stuff in the world we live. I understand that, because we live in a digital time, we live in millennials, and younger generations likes to be digital, likes this world, and of course we are collectively going to find some use in regards of a Bitcoin, and I agree with that. Every age or a certain era or a decade carries some narrative or some new things that we kind of gather of. But the Bitcoin as a currency still does not have, honestly to say, we have seen El Salvador, potentially Brazil, but I still need to see more adoption in the currency space. And when I see a couple of more countries join that, then I think that Bitcoin as a currency will then be on the track on a much faster adoption of its original use then some type of let's say store of value, or it will play a couple of roles in its all defined as it defined with the finance supply. So having said that, I'm going to also monitor this so very carefully. So in that respect, I do see also Ether going higher. Around my targets are around 7 to 8K next one, and of course I would like to see more development on the upside in some type of a five-way move. But be aware, even if we see this sizable move on the upside in the next couple of months, maybe this is going to last maybe 2-3 months on the upside, which will bring crypto substantially higher, especially if the Bitcoin surpasses 80K. We will be facing now with this higher degree wave 4. Okay, so in that respect, I will consider also that this wave 3 will be over, and it will be over on a Bitcoin. As we had a smaller correction here, this one not matching this one, in the right look analysis, this will be a more sizable one and more heavier one. So always when you have this wave 2 in a more directional, wave 4 will be very treacherous, either in a triangle or a complex correction, and it will take a year and a half or even 2. So I think we are in the last sequence, but this is a log chart. So percent wise, we might be seeing some of the alts moving in a higher percentages on the upside. So our overall wave count on the altcoins was pretty bullish during the last couple of months on the higher time frame. So let me show you just a couple of alts and how do we see them. If you want to join us, you can visit Trading Analysis website, and we do have a very developed crypto service with a nice membership and nice features that we offer. We are overall very conservative, trading higher time frames, so we don't day trade. We do a swing trade, and we are pretty much very careful of what we do in regards of risk. So in that respect, if you find yourself trying to capture these bigger trends and your risk being contained, you might be a client that will like to see what we have to offer. So let me go and see some of the altcoins. I've seen on the Binance Coin a pretty nice development post correction trust. We have seen after this a five-way move, and we have been calling this correction. That was pretty clear if you look the latest crypto labs. It's not that we are saying we were right. We were right and we were wrong. That's kind of a nature of when you do deal with the markets. But from the Elliott wave perspective, this was relatively clear in regards of a movement on the upside and a three-ways pullback. So we need to see a continuation further on the upside. But the Binance Coin made a five-way move post this equality ABC correction here. We didn't pass 786, which is pretty important to us when we look at the retracement levels, and the price action post these levels was pretty impulsive on the upside. Is it the way one done, or are we going to do a small pullback? Most likely, if the Bitcoin does, and then we might continue further on the upside towards some of the targets that we have for Binance Coin. But the chart from the higher perspective still looks pretty nice. We also looked some of the Matic, which is also our kind of following our path. One thing it is worrying me regarding, I would like this 50 level on the RSI to hold more firmly, and I would like Matic to display some of the impulsive price action from here. We have seen some type of a five-way move, pretty high, pretty well. Market can do something like this. So when you have a post corrective move on the upside, actually the wave 4 was hidden behind the triangle, but if you have a wave 1 and 2 here, you will see that we didn't have a wave count invalidation, and this is only can go for a trained eye, because when you have a triangle developing, wave A can overlap the wave 1, but the wave 4 final wave E cannot. So this is still a valid from a standpoint, and you see how small and well disguised this was in regards of a price action. So I regard this as a three-way move to the downside, so I will not like to see any break of these levels on Matic, especially if I see other cryptos goes up and Matic kind of stalls. So what I want to see, it's clearly maybe a small hesitation and further development on the upside. Otherwise, I will have to possibly think that this wave 2 might extend a little bit lower. So let's see. We are still in the beginning stage if we are in the bull run. So yeah, I see people are asking for a Dogecoin. So Dogecoin is still in regards. I'm just looking this version here, which is a smaller one. We have a bigger chart on a Dogecoin. I'm just looking this one because of the we have it in multi-wave. It's much more easier for me to operate. Sorry, guys. To operate on the multi-wave platform than on this trading view, because yeah, Polkadot is moving higher nicely. Let me just look Dogecoin on a higher time frame, and I still think that it is moving nicely on the upside. Let me just, I think we have a wave count on a weekly, or it was erased. Anyhow, let me just do that quick for you. This is clearly a five-wave move, a pullback, and now we are in wave 3, 4, and 5. So we are still developing this wave 3 on the upside, which kind of matches with this smaller picture. So we are looking this portion, okay, that is here. And for now, we didn't see anything on the upside from Dogecoin. If we see this pullback and maybe alts following a little bit more on a pullback, look for 0.082. This might be turned to be a leading diagonal expanding one in A, some type of a triangle B, and a move down in C, which will kind of match this wave 2. If we hold here and if we see something more impulsive, that will mean that we have a reversal signature and that Bitcoin will continue higher. Okay, so for now, as you can see, I'm looking several options. I'm looking this as a triangle. So the most important level in regards of Dogecoin is 0.1602. I would not like this to be broke on the downside. Otherwise, I will have to think that we have a room to 0.08, and then we start to move on the upside. For me, this is for now relatively clear, that this is a way for consolidation. Not much of an impulsive, except this first move on the downside. So I would like to see more of a Doge kind of proving its intention to continue higher, which we still don't see for now. So kind of be careful if you like Doge, observing these levels, and as I am looking the markets, I will be looking for a little bit more confirmation if I was thinking to be involved in a Dogecoin, but that's me. You might be have a different risk preference or a different view on that front. But in that regards, I think these levels will be important. Yeah, I will look a couple of more, and then I will go, guys. Forgive me for a shorter presentation, but I'm not so capable of giving you the best of me today. So ADA is still, as you can see, consolidating. After this pullback, I didn't see anything firmer on the upside. So I guess if we see a Bitcoin move down, my levels on interest on ADA, if you want to know, will be around 1.893, 1.7. Okay, so I still think that this is not a viable proof to me that ADA is starting to move on the upside. If I see a break of this channel, then I will be glad to be a holder of ADA. But for now, I'm still kind of sitting on my hands. and not on my hands, I'm still watching this a kind of a smaller move, and considering this still to be a corrective of nature, and a possible move down if we correlate this and we see Bitcoin prices moving lower. Okay, so let's see Fantom. Fantom was, I think we were looking Fantom reaching higher levels, and it's going up. It's stalling a bit, kind of consolidating. I've pointed out two targets. This is the first one at 2.17, and looks like we have a five-way move. So let's go on a smaller time frame and look what's going on here. So from these lows, we still cannot say the five-way move is over. So I will look Fantom for a little bit more on the upside. If we get something more exuberant, we might revisit the upside target. But as you can see, we have already reached some of the levels. We look, the RSI is pretty high, and we have some type of a divergence already on a smaller time frame. Not big, but we usually look for this type of things on a higher time frames, and yeah, we have it, which is a kind of a warning signs. You will see clearly a divergence between the here the strength of this highs here. We have a higher high, and the RSI we have a higher low, which is a kind of a sign that the trend is experiencing a little bit of weakness. So I will say maybe a couple of more pushes, and I will tighten my stops definitely on Fantom if you look me. Okay, guys, so yeah, so let me see one more, and that's it for today, guys. Nervos Network, I never heard about this one. I like sometimes doing these charts of the cryptos, which I never saw. So this is still pretty much undeveloped. As you can see, I don't see any particular about this pattern, except this might be a corrective pullback with a five-way move up. So I will not deal with this because it doesn't display so much confidence of what was happening here. Should I start the wave count from here? And if I do, this will be a wave 1 and 2 or A and B, and we are going up. So for now, let me kind of be a little bit more conservative and looking this from a different perspective, which I will show you, which is kind of encompasses a smaller analysis, which means that this looks like pretty much to be corrective. This is a complex correction, which we usually label as a WXY, which means that we had something more complex, and from there we have a nice five-way move with a three-ways pullback. So I will say, as long as we hold this support around 0.011, and we kind of meander around there or have a little bit more bullish price action, this might turn to a pretty nice bullish outlook, especially if we go above this 0.026 levels and we cross this X wave, which is a usual resistance that we look on a further bullish outlook. So as long as we are capped in this type of a consolidation, I will be looking the intermediate price action on a smaller time frame. But for now, post this correction, it's looking good for now. Okay, so provided these levels kind of holds and we start to accumulate energy, maybe to surpass this resistance on the upside. No, I don't think it's COVID. I don't have a temperature, and I think it's just a seasonal flu. Yeah, I don't think it's COVID. I hope it's not. I will check it anyhow. Yeah, so let me look one more, which was many people asked me to look persistence, which I think it's a good project. So persistence in my mind looks pretty nice. from a couple of reasons. First, we have a nice 5-wave move from these lows, and also I like when I see the RSI post this previous move on the upside is moving lower, with the price action not moving lower so much. Okay, so we had a nice 5-wave move on the upside and a 3-wave pullback, and the post second wave we have a nice 5-wave move development, and I think this is a small flat, a kind of a hidden. It might test a little bit lower levels, but I would like definitely to see what will happen if this RSI reached a little bit lower levels. And when you have a flat, which is one of the most kind of a vicious corrections that you have in markets, these flats can kind of lead you thinking that we're gonna break this support. Even if we break it, I will be just realigning this wave too. So I think persistence is definitely a good project with a couple of things that they're planning to do. So as long as we are in with these lines, and I think this wave count is pretty solid in regards of the future developments. I think we are in some type of a 1-2, and we are going to see at least a nice leap on the upside, especially if we got above this. This is just a small break. I will not pay so much attention for it in regards, because this is a base channel which we usually look for a measured move target. So I like this wave count, and the fact the RSI is low, the price didn't fell too much. We are respecting this low yet, and this price action indicates we are in flat, which means we can go a little bit lower, but from there I will expect more upside developments. So thank you guys on the attention, and see you next time. I will be better next time, that's for sure. And please be aware of these scams. There is not much things I kind of hate in this line of job, but impersonating others and stealing other people's work, and doing this type of things of scam, kind of leading others which are not educated or not informed enough to believe to these scammers which are taking money out of the people. There is really not much more things I had hated than that. So please be kind of pay attention on it, and trading analysis is not involved in any brokerage or any fund related things with clients. So don't fall from it. If anybody talks to you with the trading analysis sign, if they ask any money for it, that's not us. So please be careful. So thank you again on the attention, and hit the like button for us, guys, and see you next week. So bye bye.